Hi everyone, thanks for dropping by my YouTube channel today where I'm doing final test on Byler's USSC brand Pellet Stove Controller. Byler sent me this one because it had a couple problems. The first being that it reported Err9, an error which is not listed in the manual, and after a while the front display went completely dead. He was not reading anything. After discussing this with Byler, we agreed that he could send me the controller and I would attempt to fix it. I received it yesterday. I did some troubleshooting on it, replaced a couple of components, and I'm ready to do final tests on it. Before I do that, let me tell you about my system. Of course, I have Byler's controller here. Then I have a faceplate which has an actual auger motor mounted on it, and the shaft from the auger motor comes out the front, and I have a decal on it that will show us when the motor is actually spinning. I also have 4 light bulbs at the back which simulate the different features of your stove. The first being the igniter, then the combustion fan, the auger motor, and at the far end in red, the convection or room fan. So let's go ahead and turn everything on. Let me turn on the tester. That will power up the controller and boot it up. And one light at the back, the combustion fan, will come on. Before we go any further, let me put a shade in front of the light bulbs so that it doesn't swamp out the camera and cause the image to be too dark. To show that the controller is functioning correctly, I can use the keypad to step through the different features of the controller. The heat range, for example, I can press the keys to go all the way up to 9 and then back down to 1. I can do the same with the room fan, go from auxiliary down to 1 and then back up to 9, or automatic. The same with the draft fan, automatic down to 1 and back up to automatic. And on this controller, the auxiliary keys work, and I can do the same for the auxiliary, go all the way down to 0 and back up to automatic. So all those keys are functioning correctly. The next thing I'll do is set the controller to do self-tests. To do that, I'll press the off key and the auger delay key both at the same time for 3 seconds, and that will enter self-test mode. Let's do that. There we are. We're in outlet 1. We see that the light stayed on. If I press any key on the controller, that causes a light to change. So we're over in the convection or room fan. The next key causes the next light to come on, which is the heater element. And finally, if I press once again, the auger comes on. So we hear the auger spinning and we see the decal spinning here as well. If I press again, I wind up in inlet number 1. If I press one more time, I'm in inlet number 2. If I press one more time, I'm reading the temperature of the RTD. As I say in all my videos for USSC stoves, I do not have the correct RTD, so I'm reading 175 degrees Fahrenheit. If I squeeze with my fingers the RTD, we'll see that the temperature rises and it'll go up above 200. And if I release, the temperature will start slowly drop. The other thing I can do is I can disconnect the RTD completely, and that will cause it to go to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's all functioning correctly. Let me plug it back in. And that'll bring us back to about 175. So we see that that circuit is working correctly. The next thing I'll do on self-test is press one more time and we wind up with 60H, which is the frequency of the power coming into the house here. That's pretty standard for North America. Pressing one more time puts me in buy mode and the controller resets. After the reset, light comes on at heat range number 1. I'll do one last thing, and if I press both auxiliary keys at the same time for 3 seconds, we reset the controller and I go to buy mode. And with the buy mode, it just resets itself. USSC version of the software, and waits for us for further action. I can press the on key and the controller comes back onto heat range 1. So Byler, there you have it. Your controller is once again fully functional. I want to thank you very much for sending it to me. I appreciate that. If any of you other owners have a USSC brand pellet stove controller or other brands, and if you have one that has Err9 showing on the display, I'm happy to talk to you about it and work towards getting it fixed. For all you viewers, I hope you found this video useful. Please take a few seconds to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate that very much. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.